OCO, Nagad. I'm going to introduce to you tonight is our national treasure, Dorothy. Um, and do a lot of other skills. Dorothy is an excellent person for wild greens that are used for food and medicine. Tonight she's talking about food and how to prepare them. So I would like for you to introduce to you Dorothy Ice.
Well, I brought a few greens, and Susie brought me the cochani, a big box full, and that's enough for a mess right there, so I'll have it. And here's poke greens, I got that this morning, and if you will harvest this, if you have this in your yard, and if you harvest it as it grows, you can eat it until frost. From the time it gets this tall from the ground, you can cut it under the ground and cook that. It is very tender. And then you can harvest it all summer long till frost. And you cook that, boil that for a few minutes, and then you take that out of boiling water, and then you put it in your saucepan with oil in it, and then you just use a fork, dig it out of your stewer, saucepan, whatever you're cooking it in, and then put it in your greasy pan, put salt in there, and put your eggs in there. When your eggs gets done, it is done. But be sure and check the biggest part of the stem that you're cooking. If it is tender, it's all done. It's all cooked. I brought watercress, and that's all I could gather. There's too much water where that was standing. And you can also cook this. If you can get enough of it, it sure does wilt. You can get maybe a basket full, you might get a bowl full. It really does wilt. So you can also cook that just like you did this. Put egg in there, scramble your egg, dump it in there. When the egg gets done, it is done. And I brought the stems, wild onion stems, and you can also cook that too. And it is good, I love it. And there's the seeds of the onions. If you will go out and get the seeds right now and sow it in your flower bed, next spring you'll have onions, wild onions. You can also eat the stems. And you cook that same way as you do poke, watercress. And this is wild lettuce. It went to sleep on me. By the time I pulled it up out of the ground and to the place where I live, it was already going to sleep. So you can also gather that, and it takes quite a bit. You just chop it up, put bacon grease on there and salt, and it's good. You don't cook that. I've never seen my mom cook it or anything. And this is cochani. Susie went out and gathered it this morning, Here it is, a whole box full of it.
What'd you call it again?
Cochani. And what I do is when I gather it, I get the shiny leaves and let the rest of it grow. And it does bloom. It blooms yellow, just like cabbage. And this will get tall. And you cook that just like all the greens back here that I talked about. But I've never eaten it with eggs. Just cook it like you would curly mustard or turnip greens, radish tops, beet tops. You can cook that also. I've eaten that. And I'll just tell you everything that I have eaten. But there's a lot out there that I don't know. But this is all I have learned from my grandma. Me following her around in the woods, and she'd always stop and say, this is this. Remember it now. You cook it this way. You cook it this long, and all of that. So that's how I learned. and following my mother around out in the woods also. And she's always told me that. But I didn't learn everything, just a few things. I wish I'd paid more attention when I was growing up. I guess I thought they were going to live forever, but they didn't. But I did outlive my grandma and my mom, except for my mother's mom. She lived to be 102. I'm not there yet. I'm headed for that.
Are there any other plants out there that could be used for?
Shoestring. I don't know if anybody knows shoestring. The blades are like corn, and it blooms purple. Sometimes it's blue. It's everywhere out there in the yard, beside the road. I didn't get that, so I didn't have any in the yard. And there's also bean vine. It climbs on the fence. It likes to grow in the edge of pasture. It likes to climb on the fence row. And it's like asparagus. You get the tops. It looks like asparagus. The top's all you get. Asparagus is bigger than bean vine. So you can cook that same way as you did the green. You can cook it with eggs in it, like poke or watercress. And I can't think of anything else right now.
Can you find any lamb's quarter?
Yes, lamb's quarter. It's not up in my yard yet. I do have it though. And there is wild turnips. It's just green. It don't make a turnip or anything, but they call it pepper plant. And the seeds that grows on there is hot. We as kids like to eat that. And wild lettuce, I brought that. There's dandelion. You can cook that also, if you can get enough of it out of your yard. And wild onions, I brought it, but not. I wished if it was tender, it'd been good. Anything else? Think of anything else?
Can we talk about sour john?
Oh, sour john grows about this tall. It's got 3 leaves and it's purple, just like clover. And you can also get that and cook it and put sugar in it and put dumplings in it. It tastes like grape dumplings. Summer grape dumplings. It tastes just like that. Possum grapes. Does anyone know what a possum grape is? Okay. You can put meal in it and you boil those and get the juice and strain it, put the seeds away or whatever, and then put cornmeal in there. That's also sweet. You put sugar in it.
Now that cochani was kind of tall. It's got chest high. Is that too high?
No, it never gets tough. All you get when it gets big, this middle one right here, it's shiny. That's all you get. Rest of it, you let it grow, and it will bloom. It gets tall if you let it grow that tall. So it will multiply.
I didn't know.
Yeah. You can also pull the roots from the cochani, put it in your flower bed, and it will multiply. Then you can harvest it and eat that. I've done that.
Cochani, the Cherokee term?
Cochun, they call it Cochun in Cherokee, and then I don't guess they had a name for it, or they didn't give it a name, so they just called it Cochani. So that's all I know about that. What was your question?
What part of the dandelion do you eat? Oh,
Just the greens.
just the green parts?
Just the
Yeah.
greens. It will be flat on the ground, and you just cut it or either pinch it off. But it takes quite a bit to make a mess. You chop that up, clean it real good, get the bugs all out, and then you chop it up, pour bacon grease and salt on there, and that's it. Just like you would sassafras.
Now you said you could keep cutting that pulp back, so where it's going in her yard, where I was supposed to be yanking it up and throwing it away. Can you go ahead and eat it? I thought it was.
No, you can eat it all summer till frost.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I
Till
didn't
frost.
know.
Uh-huh. How I got started on poke is there was a lady in Wagner. She called me one morning and said, I've got flowers in my flower bed and it won't bloom. If you come over, you can have it. I said, okay. So I went over there and she had already dug it all up out of her flower bed, put it in a black trash bag. I brought it home, dug a little trench on the east side of the house, about that deep, about that wide. I just dumped that. I didn't look at the roots or anything. So next spring when it came up, it was poke. So that's where that started. And
Dorothy, do you fix the stalk?
yes, poke stalk you can also eat while it's tender. Right now, I think it's too tough right now. You just cut it and peel it, and then you just chop it up, and then you boil that for about 2 minutes or maybe less. Drain it, put salt and pepper on it, roll it in flour, and fry it in the oil. Of course, I use lard myself. I've always used it, so. And anything else? You done?
Like making sassafras tea or
That's fresh tea?
Ginger?
Ginger I eat. Just cut it and eat it. Ginger root. And sassafras, there's two kinds. There's red and there's white. They call it white and then red. I call it yellow and red. So if I can find the red, that's what I will get. And wash the roots off and then chop it up and boil it, and that's good tea. That's fresh tea. I don't bother with the white one. It's not as strong as the red one. So,
Could they use that as medicine too?
you use that as high blood pressure control. And it purifies your blood.
How do you cook that wild lettuce again?
Wild lettuce? Oh, you don't cook the lettuce. You just gather it and wash it real good and then chop it up, just like you would lettuce, garden lettuce that you grow, just like that. And you can also eat the curly mustard also. Chop it up with the lettuce, radish, cucumbers, onions and tomatoes, then pour bacon grease on it and eat it.
Is that one of those reasons why they have that jar of like hot grease on the thing so you have grease?
Yes, real hot grease when it's almost smoking, you know, then you pour it on there and it'll wilt it.
What about elderberries?
Huckleberries?
Elderberries?
Elderberries. I'm not familiar with that, elderberries. Only dewberries, blackberries, and huckleberries, the only thing I'm familiar with. I used to pick it when I was little, and I sold it for 75 cents a gallon. Now it is $50 a gallon. If you can find it. And the reason why you can't find it is way back yonder, they used to burn the forest off, the mountains, all of that. They burned it off, so the tender ones would come up and bear. Now you can't burn anything to produce anything, so it's all gone. Okay, anything else?
Do you do anything with sumac? Do you make any teas or anything with sumac?
Yes. The berries. You boil those, and it is also good for high blood pressure. I drove a school bus for 25 years for Briggs School, and I worked in the system for 27. And every 5 years, we had to go do a physical for driving the bus. 4 days before I went to have my physical done, I'd get the berries and boil 2 quarts of it, made 2 quarts. Boil that. I didn't put any sugar in it. I just drunk it bitter. And I'd go to the doctor. He said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing whatever it is you're doing. He said, you're just like 17-year-old. So, yeah. And the sumac, when it's about this, in the spring, when it's about this tall, just cut the top, peel it, put salt on it, and eat it. And oak balls, anybody know what an oak ball is? Water oak, okay. We used to take toe sack. I called it toe sack. Now they call it gunny sack. So we'd go to the woods. Several of us kids would get together. We'd climb the trees and get those oak balls. There's 3 different kind of oak balls. 1 you can eat and 2 you can't. Mm-hmm.
Is it oak balls?
Oak balls. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they those round ones that?
They're hot. Yes, they're. When they get dry, they sound like paper.
Yes.
That's those. When they're green, when they're in the spring, you can eat those.
How do you cook them, or what do you?
You don't cook them. You just pull them off the tree and shake the bugs off of them. If you got salt in your pocket, sprinkle it and eat it. Oh, yeah, I've eaten a lot of stuff out there with the kids that I grew up with. Of course, there was 5 of us girls, first cousins, and I'm the only one left. They all passed away when they were 50s and 60s. So I guess from eating all of this wild greens and things and keeping me going. So
What do the 2 balls that you can't eat look like?
I think it's a blackjack. I think it comes off a blackjack. You might know, but we didn't eat them. They were too tough. They're strong.
You could use it to hit somebody.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah. Okay, and persimmons. Yeah. Did you ever take a bite of it while it was green?
No.
Yeah. We used to fight with those. Put them on a salt limber stick, put them on there, and throw it. We could hit people with it, so it was fun. If you didn't get hit, but if you got hit, it wasn't fun. It hurts.
You can predict the wet winter, how bad the winter's gonna be?
Well, no, not really. Only by those little black woolly worms. Only thing I go by. If there are a lot of them, it's gonna, you see them on the road, crawling on the road. The weather's gonna be bad. So I think they missed it this year because I've seen some in the fall. They were oodles of them. So we didn't get any snow. We got just a little bit of sprinkle, not enough to call it snow. So I'm glad of that.
Those seeds, or they found a fork, knife, all that. That's they don't tell nothing.
Well,
I'm trying.
they said it did. If you can find spoon, fork, and knife in the persimmon seed, you bust it open. I guess you've done that. If you can find all 3, it was going to turn bad. The spoon represents for a shovel, they said. So the other 2, I don't know. So I need to learn that.
Fiddler fern, I've heard, eating the top off the fiddler ferns, do you know any?
No, I don't know, but let's see, what was that? I can't think. Okay, in the sassafras leaves, there's a hand. One leaf shows a hand, and the other one a mitten, and there's something else. I can't remember the other 3. You remember? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a 3-fingered glove, and then the 5, and then just a mitten. And I don't know what that means, so it means something if you were smart enough. I didn't.
Now, we used to choose sassafras leaves as kind of, gives you kind of the gum.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe walk around chewing sassafras leaves.
Okay, yeah. You can also chew the sassafras leaf if you get something in your eye. Just take the saliva and put it in your eye like that and wash it out. It'll pull it out. I've done that before. Mom did. Mm-hmm.
Dorothy, did you ever make any persimmon pies or cookies?
Yes, I have. I forgot how many persimmons it took, 40 maybe, to make a pie. But I don't do that anymore either. 'Cause you can't find any here, but there's some back toward Oklahoma City Road, highway, on the side of the road.
Out at the Heritage Center, there's a bunch of persimmon trees.
Oh, yeah, but they won't
Oh.
let you get them.
I have.
They might let you eat them while you're in there, but they're not gather them, I don't think.
Well, they were just on the ground.
Oh, yeah,
And the cars had run over them.
yeah, they're,
Webworms ate everything this year.
they like them.
What about chinkapin?
Chinkapin, we used to go gather those too, and crack them and eat them, eat the goodies, and that's good too. And English walnuts, you can also make kanache out of the goodies. Pecans, same thing. Lot of work though. Anything else?
I pulled up a weed, I thought one time, but it smelled like a carrot.
There is wild carrots
Oh,
over there by Co-op, west from there, across the street there. There used to be wild carrots there. I don't know if it still grow or not.
so I could have eaten that if I wanted to.
Uh-huh. I used to eat that. Just pull it up and dust it off and eat it. Okay.
Dorothy, do you know anything about mushrooms?
Oh, a few, not all of them. I know a hickory hen. It comes in a fuzzy, look like a sheep head. Most of them call it sheep head. Has anyone seen them sitting on a limb? Or wherever there's a little hole in a tree, it likes to grow there. Or down on the bottom, anywhere. They call that sheep head. You just bring it home and strip it and wash it, boil it just a little while, and then take it out, salt and pepper it, roll it in flour. A lot of people use meal. I don't like to use meal, I use flour. Then fry it. And elephant ear, they call that. They grow flat on the stump or log.
And how do you know it's good?
Oh, I think there's four is all I learned. Oh, morels.
Okay.
You mean already old?
Well, yeah, that too, but my brother said pick things off elm trees or a certain type of trees. He said don't pick it off. Like
Hickory,
blackjack or something like that.
hickory and elm.
Hickory and elm.
And then there's toadstools, they call them. They grow in the bunches. They do big old cluster of them, but they're just a whole lot of them. The middle part will be taller than the others. They do have a ring around the stem. You can also eat them. You pick those, boil them just like the first mushroom, and drain it, salt it, pepper it, roll it in flour and fry it. I eat everything fried.
Is that wishy considered a mushroom?
It's a mushroom, yes, and it's just like a fresh perm on a woman's head. The wishy is. It will get big as a wash tub if you leave it alone. Yeah.
Those go around hickories?
They grow around where they have dozed back in the woods. If they have dozed it around the stump, right around there.
Is that different than hickory chicks?
Yes.
That might be
It-
what he's talking about.
Hickory chick likes to grow on a tree. The wissy grows on the ground.
What's the best time to go looking for them?
In the fall,
In
the wissy, and then those elephant ears grows anytime after rain. And morels, they come up around Easter time. They taste like chicken to me.
About the ones they call slickheads. What they-
That one, I don't know what that one is.
They've got a name, imagine that's about to come up with.
Yeah.
Find a lot of those.
Yeah, I don't know that one. That's the only mushrooms I know, it's 4. But I'm willing to learn. If a new one comes up, I'll The reason why I brought the stems here is you can eat them right now. Just break the stem and cook them, but it takes a little while to get them soft enough to eat. You can eat those. That's why I brought that.
What's that shoestring again? What does that look like? And how do you-
Shoestring, it grows in the yard or on the side of the road or in the pasture. It got blades like corn. It just gets about that tall and it blooms purple. I didn't have any in the yard. And the lamb's quarter, there's two kinds. There's tame and then the wild one. The tame one has a little red spot in the middle. And the leaves are just like that right there.
That shoestring, does it have the purple flower have a yellow center?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think spiderwort is what maybe the scientific name for it.
Any question? Anybody else know something new?
That lettuce, I mean, not lettuce, watercress.
Yeah.
I use that on bologna sandwich instead of lettuce.
Oh yeah, I did it. Yeah, you can also just eat it like that. Yeah. Okay, anything else? Anybody else?
Dorothy, do you make a watercress salad with the wild onions?
Oh, you can mix that with whatever you want to mix it with, yeah. But I like it just by itself and plain so I can taste the watercress. I like it like that. You can put garden onions in there, chop it up.
Do you find any black caw around any place?
No, they're all gone. They're all gone.
Is there anything you can do with the May apples?
No, not that I know of. Yes, there is. I forgot. When it gets ripe, you can eat it. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you can eat it. When it gets ripe, it's probably ripe now. And passion flower, it has fruit. I like to eat that, but you got to learn to like it. When you first take a bite, it's bitter. But you just got to learn to like it. Once you like it, you go looking for it. Yeah. Okay, anything else?
Are there any cautions about picking wild food that you want to say?
No, no.
Just watch out for the snakes and the bugs.
Yeah, the snakes are usually around where the huckleberries are at, because they're after the birds that eats the berries, and that's what they're after. But as I was growing up, picking huckleberries and blackberries, I never saw a snake. But if I did, I was gone. If I'm out digging wild onions, if I see that one snake, I leave. But after that, any stick that I see is a snake. And it even moves, I'm out of there. I'm scared of them.
My grandma used to tell them, when she'd find a lot of huckleberries, ask her where it was at. Said, you tell them, but she said there's a big snake lives there. Just because
Yeah,
getting it.
yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, and here's some, if you want to come pick one up, you're welcome to it. Susie brought those to me, and I do appreciate it. So, but